Did you know there are amusement parks that never truly shut down? Even when the lights go out, even when the crowds leave, even when the gates are locked and the laughter stops. Some rides keep moving, and some rides keep singing. This is the story of the Midnight Amusement Park, an abandoned place where rusted rides creak in the wind, and a soft child's lullaby drifts across the empty grounds. No one knows who or what is playing it, but every local knows one thing for certain. Once the lullaby starts, you should never stay inside. The park was once a wonderland. Built in the late 1950s on the edge of a quiet town, it was a place for families, children, and summer evenings filled with flashing lights and cotton candy. At night, the Ferris wheel would glow against the stars. The carousel spun with painted horses, their golden manes frozen in mid-gallop. The roller coasters rattled and screamed, and in every corner, children's laughter echoed. But the park had a dark secret. Management cut corners. Safety inspections were ignored, workers were underpaid, and the machinery was left to rot under layers of cheap paint. The first tragedy happened in 1962. A little boy climbed into the Ferris wheel. The gears jammed, the cart shook loose, and the boy plummeted 40 feet. Witnesses said they could still hear his mother screaming, long after the ambulance left. The park shut down for 3 weeks. Then it reopened, like nothing had happened. But the tragedies kept piling up. A roller coaster derailed. A girl drowned in the artificial lake when a paddle boat tipped. A teenage worker slipped under the carousel, her screams drowned out by the music. Locals began to whisper that the park was cursed. But still, families kept coming, because children begged for it. Because fun has a way of erasing fear, until one night, everything stopped. It was 1978, a Friday in July. Hundreds of people filled the park. But sometime after dark, the music changed. Instead of the bright, tinny tunes of the carousel, a soft, slow lullaby began to play, a song no one had heard before. Children turned quiet. Some said they felt sleepy. Some just stopped walking, their eyes fixed on the rides. Then the lights flickered. The Ferris wheel ground to a halt mid-spin. The roller coaster froze halfway through a climb, and the carousel kept spinning, even though no one was on it. That's when people started to panic. Parents grabbed their kids. Workers shouted, trying to shut down the rides. But the lullaby grew louder, sweet, hypnotic, almost alive. By midnight, the screams had replaced the music. When police arrived, the gates were open, but the park was silent. They found shoes, bags, dolls, and half-eaten food scattered across the ground. But dozens of people were missing, and they were never found. The park shut down the very next day, permanently. For years, the land sat abandoned. Nature crept back in, weeds split the pavement, vines wrapped around the roller coasters. Rain and rust ate away the metal, but people still heard things. Teenagers sneaking in at night swore they saw the carousel turn by itself. They said the Ferris wheel groaned and shook, as if invisible riders still clung to the seats. And always, just past midnight, a faint lullaby would echo across the empty grounds. Some said it was the wind. Some said it was a broken music box, left behind in the wreckage. But others believed it was the voices of the children, the ones who never came home. In 1993, a group of urban explorers brought cameras inside. Their footage showed them laughing, climbing over fences, daring each other to ride the broken swings. But the laughter didn't last long. Halfway through the video, one of them stops. She asks, "Do you hear that?" And then, faintly, the lullaby begins. At first, it's almost pleasant, soft notes on a toy piano. But, as it continues, it slows down, the notes stretching, bending, like someone playing too close to the strings. The camera shakes as they run. The footage cuts in and out. And in one frame, just for a second you can see the carousel spinning. But not empty. Silhouettes of children are riding the horses. Their heads tilt toward the explorers. Their mouths open wide, and then the tape cuts to static. When police found the explorer's car outside the gates the next morning, it was empty. No one ever saw them again. Locals began to call it the Midnight Amusement Park, a place that only truly wakes up when the clock strikes 12. A place where rides still move, though no one is there to ride them, and where a lullaby plays, not to soothe, but to summon. No one knows where the song came from. Some think it was written by the first boy who died, his ghost crying out through the gears of the Ferris wheel. Others think it's older than the park itself, something that lived in the ground long before concrete was poured. Whatever it is, it waits, and it sings. Even now, thrill seekers dare each other to sneak in. Some make it back. They say the park is worse than the rumors. One man claimed the carousel horses weren't wooden anymore. He swore their eyes followed him, that their teeth were sharp, that when the lullaby began, they turned their heads in unison, like predators. Another said the swings moved by themselves, back and forth, as if invisible children were playing. The strangest story came from a woman who went in alone. She said she saw the Ferris wheel spinning slowly, the metal screeching, and in every cart there was a child's doll, sitting upright, each with a name sewn into its dress. She ran before the ride reached the top. Today, the park is closed off. Fences and warning signs keep people out, but sometimes, drivers on the nearby highway say they can still see lights in the distance. Bright, flickering lights, like neon bulbs fighting to come alive. And if you roll your windows down, sometimes, just sometimes, you'll hear it. The lullaby, soft, sweet, calling you closer. They say the song only stops if you leave before midnight. If you stay too long, you don't leave at all, because the Midnight Amusement Park doesn't need tickets anymore. It only needs names, and if you're not careful, yours might be the next one sewn into a doll, sitting silently on the Ferris wheel. Amusement parks are supposed to be places of joy, of childhood memories, summer nights, and laughter. But some parks never forget their tragedies. Some hold on to them, and some turn them into lullabies. So, if you ever hear a carousel playing after midnight, run, because no one knows what rides are moving in the dark, and no one knows who they're waiting for.